Praise the Lord, my beautiful blessed souls. We are bruised and not broken, and I am back with another word. Now, I know y'all about tired of me with these bonnets and all kind of stuff. I have been tired. A lot going on. It's the new year, trying to get things situated. Why? Because you start, putting up goals for the year. You got to get to them. You got to take off running with them. So we're in the second month, going into the third month. It's going to be the first 90 days of the year. How's folks, plans going so far? You can kind of gauge. But anyway, we're in Dueteronomy chapter 23. So all my New York people, all my people that have colds all around them. I am so sick of this cold. I hate the cold, but I know it's a part of life. The winter, bitter, cold seasons in your life where we think nothing's growing, but it really is. But anyway, let's get into Dueteronomy chapter 23. This is a good word. And we are going to get into this because this is going to be another jaw dropper. Okay, it says, no one whose testicles are crushed or whose male organs is cut off shall enter the assembly of the Lord. Now remember, they used to have eunuchs. So this just says a lot, but a lot. No one born of a forbidden union may enter the assembly of the Lord, even to the 10th generation. Wow. None of his descendants may enter the assembly of the Lord. So if you were born of a forbidden union, ooh, Lord, blessed Jesus. When we look at these laws, I'm so glad Jesus came to fulfill them, aren't you? I mean, because I don't know how we would have ever did it. But no Ammonite or Moabite may enter the assembly of the Lord, even to the 10th generation. Oh, why is that? None of them may enter the assembly of the Lord forever. Whoa. Because they did not meet you with bread and water on the way when you came out of Egypt. Oh, wow. And because they hired against you Balaam, the son of Beor from Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse you. So do you see how when people do certain things, that they could really curse themselves by trying to curse you? Hint, hint, hint. But the Lord your God, do not let that fly over your head. But the Lord your God would not listen to Balaam. And when I say that, look at your life and see what's going on, because it might tell you a lot. But the Lord your God would not listen to Balaam. Instead, the Lord your God turned the curse into a blessing for you. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Won't he do it? Because all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and called according to his purpose. So when these people are doing these wicked, evil things, won't he do it? He would turn it all around in your favor. Hallelujah. You shall not seek their peace or their prosperity all your days forever. Wow. So God didn't listen to Balaam. Instead, the curses that they wanted to do turned out to be blessings for them. Messing with God's people, you might want to leave certain folks. Just leave them alone. Okay, so now you shall not abhor an Edomite, for he is your brother. You shall not abhor an Egyptian, because you were a sojourner in his land. God still respects certain things. You see that. Children born to them in the 3rd generation may enter the assembly of the Lord. So I guess that's for the Edomites, which is Esau's children. But there was always a rift between them family members. So him and Jacob always had some issues. They had beef, them and kids. It was serious. To this day, it's still serious. There's some folks that be fighting all over Ishmael, all of them. Listen, it's a family thing, y'all. Children born to them in the 3rd generation may enter the assembly of the Lord. Now, when you encamped against your enemies, then you shall keep yourself from every evil thing. So when we're in the midst of our enemies, we're supposed to stay away from. Because a lot of times they were living, in the area of the ones who are practicing all these things. But that's why he gave them the borders and told them not to, exceed this, marry them, do this, do that, just for that reasons. If any man among you becomes unclean because of a nocturnal emission, then he shall go outside the camp. He shall not come inside the camp. When evening come, he shall bathe himself in water And as the sun set, he may come inside the camp. I wonder what that means. Nocturnal. Become unclean for nocturnal emission. I wonder what that means. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to look that up. Okay, so then we get to, you shall have a place outside the camp. You shall have a place outside the camp, and you shall go out to it, and you shall have a trowel with your tools. And when you sit down outside, you shall dig a hole with it and turn back and cover up your excrement. Okay, so that's how they use the restroom. And you see it was outside of the camp, and because to keep cleanliness, to keep from defilement. God is a God of cleanliness, purity, remember holiness and order. Because the Lord your God walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you and to give up your enemies before you. Giving them enemies, turn them over. Therefore your camp must be holy, so that he may not see anything indecent among you and turn away from you. Now you shall not give up to his master a slave who has escaped from his master to you. Oh, excuse me. Oh, wow. He shall dwell with you in your midst. Oh, wow. Do you see that? Hint, hint, they were lying to us about the slavery from the beginning. And here we go again. In the place that he shall choose within one of your towns, wherever it suits him, you shall not wrong him. So if a slave was to escape from their master and come to you, you're supposed to let him dwell with you. And he's supposed to be able to choose where he want to go. So you see the way they was treating folks when Kunta wanted to get away and they wouldn't let Kunta go. None of the daughters of Israel shall be a cult prostitute. Oh, wow. And none of the sons of Israel shall be a cult prostitute. Oh, you shall not bring the fee of a prostitute or the wages of a dog into the house of the Lord your God in payment for any vow. For both of these are an abomination to the Lord your God. Well, to that I would say to the dancing boys of Afghanistan and everywhere else where they're promoting these things. Because remember, just because they have all of these robes and stuff does not mean, they may be covering up, but covering up on the outside when all is filthy on the inside, honey, please. So you shall not charge interest on loans to your brother. Oh, here we go. Interest on money, interest on food, interest on anything that is lent for interest. Oh, wow. But you may charge a foreigner interest, but you may not charge your brother interest. That the Lord your God may bless you in all that you undertake in the land that you are entering to take possession of it. Wow. So we even have provisions for the way we're supposed to treat each other as siblings. Won't he do it? So that means folks can't just be getting over and using folks. We gonna get into it. If you make a vow to the Lord your God, you shall not delay fulfilling it. For the Lord your God will surely require it of you, and you will be guilty of sin. But if you refrain from vowing, you will not be guilty of sin. So it's best just not to. You shall be careful to do what has passed your lips, for you have voluntarily vowed to the Lord your God what you have promised with your mouth. If you go into your neighbor's vineyard, you may eat your fill of grapes, as many as you wish, but you shall not put any in your bag. Wow. If you go into your neighbor's standing grain, you may pluck the ears with your hand, but you shall not put a sickle to your neighbor's standing grain. So he even is talking about how folks just be trying to get over. Let's get into this because this is so interesting. Because we see how people can feel entitled and they want more than they need to have. Although we're supposed to help, we're not supposed to carry, we're supposed to help. And I think folks get the two very, very, especially when it comes to us, honey. Anyway, Deuteronomy 23, the laws of this chapter provide, 1, for the preserving of the purity and honor of the families of Israel, by excluding such as would be a disgrace to them. 2, for the preserving of the purity and honor of the camp of Israel when it was abroad. 3, for the encouraging and entertaining of slaves who fled to them. 4 against whoredom, 5 against usury, 6 against the breach of vows. Wow. 7, what liberty a man might take in his neighbor's field and vineyard and whatnot. Oh, we are going to get into this because we know folks like to take advantage, all full-fledged if you let them. They will get over. So now, we're going to get into this and break it down. Don't know what's going on with my throat. I probably should run me something to drink in here, but I wasn't thinking about it. Deuteronomy 23. Here is your Deuteronomy 23 summary. This is in full transformation. And we're going to talk about it. This chapter is all about holiness, boundaries, belonging, purity, and compassion. Then there's economic justice and covenant identity, a powerful continuation of the lineage protection themes that we have been looking at. We're in Deuteronomy, so God is specifically telling them before they go into Jerusalem, he's laying down all of the stuff that they need to know, that he wants them to live this way and do whatever they need to be doing the way he wants them to. So Deuteronomy 23 is a structured, God establishes boundaries for who may enter the covenant assembly. He commands purity in the camp. He protects the vulnerable, meaning those who need protecting, because folks like to just do what they want to do to people. Forbids exploitation, exactly, and reinforces holiness as a generational identity. Excuse me. So now let's get into it. Narrative flow, clear and sequential. Who may enter the assembly? Certain individuals or groups were restricted from entering the sacred assembly, including those with mutilated bodies. Children of forbidden unions. The Ammonites and Moabites due to hostility towards Israel, but the Edomites and Egyptians could eventually join. But remember, he stipulated up until when? What generations? So covenant identity is sacred and the community must guard its spiritual boundaries. Now remember Egyptians, because after, whatever happened when he destroyed it, or kind of bankrupt. I guess some of them went with them, or, whatever happened, if they came. They were once, their enemy, but they're no longer. So they would eventually, I guess, after so many bloodlines, and that's because God knows what he's doing when it comes to that, because, when folks don't like you, them and they people won't like you too. Especially when God just set you free. We see that all the time. And it could be for no reason at all, but it's just whatever they got going on in their own minds. So mutilated bodies, we talked about the eunuchs, because I know the eunuchs had, cut off their stuff and different things. And I'm not really quite sure. I want to look into that because I remember the eunuchs did these things. So when we think about that in this time, and we think about what people are doing in this time, and I wonder if they were doing it in that time for the same reasons. I wonder, because remember, all of this stuff was going on in time before the time of Noah. Then children of forbidden unions. So when we think about adultery, when we think about fornication, rapes, different things, this is what that will, I guess, fall up under. And then the Ammonites and the Moabites, due to their hostility towards Israel, because they wanted them cursed. And because God blessed them, so he said no, they would not. But the Edomites and Egyptians could eventually enter in after the generation. So remember, Moabites, Ammonites could never. But see, God already knows, people, places, and things in their hearts towards you. So sometimes he'll let, after a while, he'll let folks, even though you forgive them, because you got to do all of that, and you've been healed and you've been delivered and restored, but, back to God in your heart. Sometimes he'll allow, after a certain amount of time, reconciliation, or, but then sometimes he's like, nah, them right there, don't even be bothered. These people wanted to curse Israel, but they had the hostility towards them, and this is why we have to be careful with letting people back into our lives. This is why God puts people at a distance for a reason, because he's protecting. And although we may not see and know and understand to what degree it is that they're going, the lengths that they're going to to try and destroy you. He may give you a little glimpse here and there of what their heart is or what they're doing, or let you hear. It just depends. Or they'll say or do something that'll let you know where they stand with you. And sometimes it takes us longer than it needs to for that to happen, because sometimes God has to let things happen to you repeatedly for you to really, and sometimes, a lot of times, these are people we actually care about, we love. And I talk about loss, and people don't understand losing people, even though they're alive, is a loss. People don't have to die for you to feel some sense of loss. They could be walking around still living, and the loss of not having a father or mother in your life because of whatever situations, that is still a loss, and you have to grieve it, and you have to, get healed and delivered from it, because you will mourn it, whether you realize it, pay attention to it or not. So when we are looking at these things, I guess it's to the degrees of what was going on. Putting hells and hexes and spells and curses on people, or trying to kill them, or different things. That would be a reason why God would be like, listen, don't deal with them, let them be where they're going to be. Although we're supposed to forgive our enemies and all of that, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to integrate them into our lives. People, places, things, no matter who and what they are, they can also be family. Now, the Edomites is family. He says after a certain amount of generations. Why? Because I guess that's the amount of time it's going to take for that evil to come up out of them. Because sometimes it gets stronger, and sometimes it gets, it dies down. It just depends. It depends. And so, and the Egyptians eventually could. So, covenant identity is sacred. And the community must guard its spiritual boundaries. And that's why, you have to guard your heart. God tells you to do that. And we keep talking about these things because sometimes there's just like, we got to let God help us with these things. To what degree, to what extent? Because sometimes we both is shut. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's necessary. It's for your preservation to do that. And God will let you know, what's going on and how you can slowly but surely loosen your grip on that. But for the most part, let God work with that with you, because you may need to do that. You don't know to what extent and what lengths God is protecting you from these people, places, and things. Okay, because they could be even trying to do as much as try to sacrifice you and get money or wealth from you, or whatever it is, or stop you from getting wealth or money, or to curse you, to hex you, to make your life go down. I remember they had a thing called misery, a cycle of misery, where people just will have you in a cycle of misery because they're going doing these things and you won't even know what's going on with your life. And it's like, no matter what you're trying to do, the right people don't see you, the right opportunities, everything's missed, everything's messed up. And this could be a part of that. So we want to let God do what he's doing in our life. And sometimes we get angry because we don't understand. I'm not going to sit here and say that we don't. We may want to, have these people around us. But God has already, for whatever reason and season, got them away. And that's the best thing for you. Purity in the camp. Israel must stay clean. Remove impurities. Bury waste outside the camp. I was talking about this waste thing earlier. Your house, your heart, all of these things, people, places, things need to be clean. Maintain holiness because God walks among them. And stay clean, remove impurity. This is what this is about. God's presence requires purity, physically, spiritually, emotionally. This includes financially. Why? Because financially, you have to also be, doing what you need to do, a good steward with your finances. God is blessing you. If he's blessing you, and you can plainly see he's always blessing us, whether we notice it or not. You be good stewards, because I tell people a lot, I never was rich, but God always provided no matter what was going on. And I was always able to be a blessing to others. We're going to get into that at the bottom part. Protecting the vulnerable. Runaway slaves seeking refuge must not be returned or oppressed. This is another thing why God sides with the oppressed. Israel must too. Why? Because we can't just sit around and let people be oppressed and then just, although people do it. And this is the saddest thing. And it's the saddest part, because when I look, even as Black people, when they watch all of what goes on and they still say, oh, slavery was nothing, just hide it, just bury it, just throw it away, act like it never happened. No, these are the things that must be, dealt with. You can't just act like it never happened. Don't talk about it. And then even the systems and oppressions and stuff that's going on now. And black people are not the only ones who were oppressed, who were enslaved. But when you think about to what extent and what really is still going on, it seems like the world is set up basically to hate and be against them, to not help them, to keep them oppressed. This is the curses and hexes, and this is what I was talking about with that. Why? Because God specifically said those type of people you cannot reunite with in that sense. And so when we look at these things, we just got to be paying attention. So protecting the vulnerable, that's anyone who's vulnerable, meaning when people are going through things in their life, you don't capitalize off of it. You don't make it worse. You're supposed to come and be of assistance. If you can help them, not make the situation worse for them. And a lot of times we find that this is when people will want to do the most and take the most advantage of you and your situation. I tell people, when I first started doing these videos, it's like my life went through so much hell, and it was going through it before then. And it's like the knife was just people don't understand how much I was going through. If it wasn't my children, it was all kind of things. My whole life, I was trying to get together. So much was going on. And even still, and I had already lost so much. So now this is just God building me back up. That's why I said when it is time, when God does eventually bless me and put me to where, he wants me to be, not just for myself, but to be a blessing to others. When it comes to that, because people don't want to see it, they don't want you to have it, but they don't know what you went through. And I'm here and gonna let folks know, honey, everybody's not gonna be around me. Everybody's not gonna benefit. Folks, God already told me. Why? Because he allowed me to see who, what, when, where, and how they were, whether it was in my face or behind my back. He let me see who's who and what's what. And because of that, some things were much more deeper than others. But he already let me know. Why? Because he doesn't want them to benefit. He don't want them to use me to have whatever it is he's blessing me with. Whether it's my anointing, whether it's my finances, whether it's my heart, my love, whatever it is, why God removed it for a reason. Why? Because they were no good for me. And whether they let me see it up front or not, God saw it. And then once he let me know about it and let me know and let me see, because he'll let you see things. Eventually, the way they're treating you, the way they say certain things, what they're doing, you will clearly see how these people really, their hearts towards you. Because when people love you, you don't get treated the same as when they don't. I will tell you that right up front. When you love something, you take care of it. I don't care if it's your house, your car, whatever. You put forth the effort. And when you don't. You just, whatever goes. So, no co-prostitution. Israel must not initiate or imitate pagan sexual practices. And this is a lot of what goes on. This is sexuality is sacred and must not be commercialized and or corrupted. We see in this world, this is one of the main things they do, whether it's TV, media, whether it's the music, everything is a sexualized situation. They benefit, they capitalize, they make money off of promoting it. This is fornication. This is adultery. This is all kind of stuff. I remember they had a thing called Ashley Madison. Where people was going on there to have affairs. And it's like, and the website was getting paid. Do you see how people will capitalize off of everything that God says is like, seriously? Economic justice. Israel must not charge interest to fellow Israelites. The theme of this is covenant. Family does not exploit each other. Now, when we look into these things and we're looking into this, because this has been something, because I see that there was some issues with Gorilla and her sister, and people seem to think that when you get to a certain place in life that you owe them something. And see, the sad part is, whether they were there or not, I'm quite sure if that is the case where she could be a blessing to all of them and whoever she is, But it's not. And then helping and carrying is two different things. And being ungrateful and being obligated and folks that are going to help you if you need it or not. These be the things. Because a lot of people want you to do. They want you to be there. They care not for you. They don't like you. They don't like nothing about you. You could be their whole family member. They will not. And I tell people this all the time. They will not want no parts to you. With you. They will do all that they can to exploit you, curse you, do all these things, kick you when you down. But then if something good happens in your life, they expect you to like you owe them something, to bring them, honor them, carry them, do for them. No. See, people don't understand the soul of sowing and reaping. You reap what you sown. So if you wasn't being bothered with me in my worst season, what makes you think I'm obligated to you in my benefit season when I'm moving forward in life? No, I owe you nothing. You didn't like me. You didn't want me to succeed. You laughed, you mocked, you did everything in your power to do whatever it is that you wanted to do to me, whether it was curse me, sacrifice, whatever. You made my life a living hell. You made it even more so. So what makes you think, would you do that with a person? And this is what I tell people. Don't ask me to do nothing you're not willing to do for me. Don't expect nothing. Don't do to me what you don't want done to you. When you look at these life principles, then you will start to understand. Because if I can ask you, give me one good reason why I should help you or give you, and you can't come up with not one, that explains it all. Especially knowing who you are, what you have been or not been in my life in regards to me. And I tell people in life and in death, it is the same. If folks at my funeral, listen, because I'm doing a new will, I'm doing all of that all over again. I had one and I saw how that went. I had to get rid of that. I had to do a whole lot with that. Everything with that is gone. In this new phase of my life, depending on how people treat me, is going to be exactly where they are. Now, even if they get invited to the funeral, because please understand, if certain people don't deal with me, don't be coming to my funeral crying. I will have security escort you out. If you ain't been hit my phone, you ain't contacted me, spoke to me, been bothered with me, dealt with me. I mean, I know folks like to come pay their respects. Don't get me twisted, but I just be like, folks be just having the nerve. And then they'll be there and looking for something. If you got something, expecting and feeling like you must give them something. If you was to leave and you had a whole estate, they looking like, she better have left me something. Fight over your estates, or really? And if that person was alive, you wouldn't even bring them a cup of water. We have to stop that. You reap what you sow. If you don't plant nothing over here, you don't reap nothing over here. For everybody who thinks I owe them something. And if all you sowed over here was discord, heartbreak, failure, curses, evil wickedness towards me, you sure ain't getting jack from me. I hope you know it now. I'm letting you know that. Folks couldn't stand to see me do well. And honey, this next go round, I'm going to give them a seat from way in the nosebleed section. And you can't stand, you can have a seat, but you'll watch me from way over there. You will not be a part of my life this time. Not this go round. No, not doing it. I learned from the last go round. God let me see. If he ain't let me see or know nothing else, he let me see that. Economic justice. So Israel must not change interest to fellow Israelites, meaning charge interest. Because this is what folks will do. Covenant family members do not exploit each other. And this is what folks think. Oh, you come move in with them. You ain't supposed to pay a bill. They owe you something. Your kids, your man, your this. You supposed to be their slave. You supposed to cook, clean, supposed to do everything. Nobody got to pay a bill. Everybody work, keep their own money. Don't do nothing. Complain about everything. Want you to do everything. And sit back and look at you like, what? This is what folks will do. When you let people come move in your house, they'll sit back and watch you, won't pick up a broom, and don't want to pay for nothing. I don't know where folks get that. If somebody does anything for you that is good, you should be respectful. You should be appreciative, thankful, and grateful. Because people really don't have to. And when I say that, I could say, especially when you don't do none of that for them. And especially if you do the total opposite when it comes to them. When you make their life more of a living hell than anything. Vows must be kept. If you make a vow to God, you must fulfill it. And that's with anybody. Integrity is a covenant virtue. You say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. And if it's not, then he's gonna hold you to that. Compassionate boundaries. You may eat from a neighbor's vineyard or grain, but you may not take more than you can eat. This is, here we go again. Provision without exploitation. Generosity without theft. A fair exchange is no robbery in that. Wherever I go, whatever I do, I try to be a blessing to whomever, them, their children, their households, whatever I can do. Why? I never want to be a burden to anybody. That was never me. And that's why people think, oh, I'll act funny. I'll just rather go to a shelter than to come. Why? Most folks wouldn't ask, and if they did, they would treat you so bad and you would not even want to be there. So it's no even point of doing it. And so my thing is, like I said, God has always been my provider. So I'm just like, listen, rather than to go through all of that, I'm going to go through something anyway. Before I go through living with somebody else, I go through it to the shelter, whatever, and get my own so I don't have the extra. If I'm going to come over and stay the night, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. Help in some kind of way. I'm looking for ways to be a blessing, because if you're a blessing to me in my life, I'm looking to be a blessing to you and yours. But see, people don't feel like that. This exploitation, this provision without exploitation, folks will exploit you. They will lie, steal, cheat from you. They will get over with nothing. They'll eat and then take more and not say nothing, and it's just nothing. And like it's just nothing. Like I said, I remember years ago, I used to have everybody in my house. Used to have, this is when I was partying. We would play cards, we would drink, we would have a good time. Everybody be flocking to my house and, coming to eat and drink for free. Wouldn't bring a gift, wouldn't help do nothing, set up, clean up, do nothing. And I used to just be like, and nobody it never dawned on them, to try to do anything. Even if it was a birthday, party. If you go to people's stuff, you're supposed to bring some soda, bring something, bring the kid a gift. I was to the point where I wouldn't even celebrate my own birthdays and celebrate my own stuff, but I found myself celebrating everybody else. And that's what I have right now. This is what I'm going through at a time where God's showing me how to love me, because I didn't love me. God is just showing me how to love me, and it showed because the way I was people pleasing, the way I was doing everything, thinking it was all good, thinking everybody had my love and driving my car, picking them up, doing this, doing that, doing all kind of stuff, And then their attitude towards me was like I owed them something, and whatever I did wasn't even enough. Like, oh, you supposed to do that and then some. Listen, folks just go way in left field sometimes, and I just be looking at them like I owe you nothing. And anything I do for you, you ought to be glad for it. But this is what this is about. Provision without exploitation. Generosity without theft. Don't be a thief. Don't rob people by, taking more than what you need or what you can eat, being greedy or whatever it is. Somebody does something for you, be glad, be thankful. You go out with somebody, they picked up the tab today. You pick up the tab tomorrow. They drive you somewhere. Here, girl, give them a few dollars. Put that in your gas tank. Put that in your pocketbook. Something. Don't just let it always be, you there and you just eating and chilling and don't bring nothing and don't buy nothing and don't do nothing and feeling entitled. And this is what people do. People do this. And people who know me will be like, well, shoot, she'll drive you somewhere. She'll, if you ask her to do something, yeah. And it be for free. And anything folks be wanting you wanting to do the opposite, wanting me if I wanted them to do, I would have to pay them. I'd be like, the audacity, whether it was family or not. I'd be sitting there like, no, they did not. When I didn't, and you would actually want me to pay you for if I asked you to do the simplest thing, but then you run into for everybody else, and this be the problem. But you can tell who people love and who they don't by the way they treat you. Because if they always can with other people and they never can unless they inconvenience, this issue or problem when it comes to you, please understand that's exactly how they feel about you. I don't care who they are. If they would keep somebody else's kids and not yours, if they do for this one and not yours, if they act funny, this is how they don't have nothing when it comes to you like that. And this is what we have to pay attention to. Because people, when their hearts is in it, okay, They will be there. They will love you. They will try to help you with whatever it is that you got going on. Like I tell people, with my kids, with other people's kids, if whatever it is that they have, if I can help, if I can do, whether it's a cooking, a cleaning, a bringing something, whatever it is, if I can, I always have. Now, if I don't have finances, that's one thing. But when I do, I do. But if I have it, I have it. If I don't, I don't. And I've always been the one to try to be a blessing to people. Give people their flowers, meaning love them. Show them you care about them now without them asking you. I don't care what relationship you in. Without them asking you to. Because don't nobody want nobody that you got to always be begging them to do something. Can you do this? Can you do... No. Because if they wanted to and they knew you was going through stuff, they would help you on their own. You wouldn't have to even ask. They will volunteer, like, oh, especially when you the one be doing for every... Well, that's why you got to check on your people. Your people that be always there for other people, them the main people. They suffer so much in silence. And it's sad because nobody thinks, they strong when they do this one. No, just because they strong don't mean that they don't have moments in time in their life when they are going through things. You will be amazed that they'll be the ones that carry the most load and have the most burdens and the most stuff going on. Just because everyone seems to think that because they got this or they, that they got it all together, you don't know what that person's doing. So they just get ignored. Everybody else get the help except for the one that's helping everybody else. That's crazy. That's why we got to know who's doing what's what. Compassionate boundaries. Okay. Spiritual lineage themes, your focus. Holiness is a lineage identity. God is shaping a people who know who they are, guard their identity, maintain spiritual clarity. Holiness is not a restriction. It is a protection. We seem to think it is a lot of times, but it is. It guards your identity. It maintains your spiritual clarity. Why? Because it's easy to mix. And He wants you to know who you are. You're His, you're holy, you're protected, you're loved, because a lot of times we don't know those things. Like I said, for a long time, I just, wanted people to love me. I poured out thinking that it was going to be poured back. And when it wasn't, it's like I was devastated because my own expectations broke my own heart. Because sometimes we put expectations on people, placing things that is not there. They don't have that for you. And you don't know it. You hoping, but it's not there. You thinking just, they don't think like you. They don't act like you. And this is what happens. You break your own heart in the process. We do it with God. We do it with ourselves. We do it with different things. People placing things in our life. We have to be mindful and pay attention to these things because, honey, I tell you, it will be a total devastating situation when we not getting what we want or anticipated or thought, and we built ourselves up for all of this fantasy and then that's not even the case. Boundaries protect the future. The assembly restrictions teach not everyone can shape your identity. Not every influence belongs in your lineage, right? Because when you're dealing with certain people, they have to be able to help you, strengthen you. And a lot of times when we deal with people who's not what we are, they're not capable of it. That's why the Bible said they know not who they are, what they do. Why? Because they really don't. In their minds, they don't think like you. They say a lot of people, mindset is wherever their trauma happens in their life. So if it was at 7, they never grew up, their bodies did, but their minds and everything else did. So they still think like that. So we got to look at these things, like a 7-year-old, and we got to pay attention. So not everybody can shape your identity. That's why God takes you away, because when you're growing, you need to be around people that's further on than you. Those are the ones that's going to help you get to where where God is taking you. Those are the ones that's going to help pour into you and not just come and take out. That's the hemorrhaging thing. When you are hemorrhaging in your life in whatever area, it could be physical, it could be an actual hemorrhaging of your mental, emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual well-being. Like I said, I went through them literally with the fibroids as well as in every aspect of my life. The hemorrhaging, the constant outpouring, and the not receiving being replenished. And you will deplete yourself, you will kill yourself up, and people will move on. They will suck like leeches, suck the life right out of you and move right on. Don't do it. And whatever you do, it will never be enough. They will always want more. It will always be an issue, a problem. Folks will always, have a complaint, an issue with you all of the time. And you can't please people. Not every influence belongs in your lineage. Influence can be a good or a bad thing depending on what it is. And that's what it is. Because like I tell people, Jesus went in on Palm Sunday, the next week they was crucifying him. So influence, love, all that adoration. 1 minute they'll be loving you, and the next minute they'll be hating you. This is how it goes. They'll be clapping, applauding you, and then the next minute you be then dropped off the face of the earth. Nobody heard from you, knew you, or nothing. I went through it when I, had the house bill. We went through all of that, and then the next thing you know, boop, everything fell apart, and then nobody heard from me until I was what? At the bottom of the pit, and nobody wanted to be bothered. So discernment is a generational wisdom, and this is how you pick up on what is going on. You have to be paying attention to people, places, and things around you, and don't let people fool you, because I'm telling you, their hearts could be far from you. They could have all these agendas and ulterior motives as to why they want to get close to you, want to talk to you, want to be around you, want to be bothered with you for whatever reason. It could be a mental thing. It could be an emotional thing, a physical, financial, or spiritual thing. It could be whatever. But usually when people start drawing close to you, they want something. What is it you want? A lot of times they're coming to take. And we have to be very careful. And God has to show us when we're going through this, because that was the padlock I was talking about, with the lock being on your heart and stuff, and you protecting yourself to the extent of you not letting people in, and you will just push away the ones who are coming to help you if you're not careful, because you won't be able to tell the difference between the two, and that is the the backlash of that. But justice for the vulnerable is non-negotiable. God commands to protect the runaways, to do not oppress, to do not exploit, to do not have injustice. But we see these things go on more than anything in this world. Like, this world was set up to progress, to get payment, to make a name and money and all of that for doing just these things. The more they exploit, the more they tell lies, the more they do this, the more drama, the more this is the opposite. But see, culture, the world, the kingdom, the systems, Lucifer, Satan, the devil will teach you these things to be just like that. A lineage that protects the vulnerable becomes a lineage that God protects. Hello, somebody. When you look out for those who can't look out for themselves, instead of doing them dirty, especially when God is watching, because a lot of times we don't pay attention how we treat people, places, and things, especially the ones when they're going through things. Those are the ones that God said specifically. Jesus said, them the ones he got his eye on. Not the church folks that got it all together, the ones who don't. So you might want to put that in your mind. So when God got his eyes on these people and they going through some stuff, and you running over there to make their life a little bit harder, kicking them, don't think he didn't see that now. You mess yourself up like them folks did. They tried to curse Israel. They just came out of Egypt, all this enslavement, trying to get it together. And you trying to make life worse for them still? What's wrong with you? Every time they wanted to pass through a nation, no, they don't want them to pass through, trying to create an issue. They asking for peace, and these people trying to give them war. And God, he just wanted to see what they were going. He stepped back and said, I want to see what they're going to do to my people. Because the moment they mess with my people, I'm going to go in there and let them just totally obliterate them. Why? Because that was a test. To see what just because you can don't mean you should, Dodo. People think because they got power, money, and influence that they think that they are kings, they think they are gods, and then God turn around and let them know, you're not that. You ain't he, you ain't, I am the I am. And when you go after my people with injustice, with all these things, I'm going to come after you. It may not be right away, but I'm going to come after you. So remember, justice for the vulnerable, not oppressing. God commands to protect. Do not oppress, do not exploit. Why? Because exploitation is the same thing. People like to manipulate and exploit you out your money. They want to tell you to come join this business, do this, do that, and they know good and well it's a whole lot more stuff to that than what they telling you. Now they gonna, as long as they got their money up front. Exploitation. Got you paying interest upon interest upon interest, tax upon taxes upon tax. You pay tax on this, you pay tax on everything. See, exploitation, greed. Doing things just because you can don't mean you should. You got the power to do it, but that don't mean you should. Where's your intentions? Where's your motives? Where's your heart for people? Do you not look at people and be like, because look at the debt thing. People say you make money off debt. Of course they make money off debt. When they loan you this stuff and tell you got to pay 3 and 4 times of what it's worth, and then you turn around and got to do that, and then no matter what happened, they come and get their stuff back if you don't pay it, and then they turn around and sell it to somebody else and put that on your you see what I'm saying? And you got to go through all these other things to get it off and do all these secrets they keep from you to keep your life in chain and shackled and in bondage. When they knew when they was loaning you that money, it was predatory. See? Like I said, the injustice of it all. Let's move on. Sexual purity guards the lineage. Cult prostitution laws reinforce sexuality is sacred. Like we said, identity cannot be commodified. This is why, you got to get somewhere and sit down, because we will sit here and think we're giving our bodies to people trying to, as a sacrifice. That's what you're doing, whether you realize it. And you think they're going to accept it and they're going to love it and they're going to beat it and they're going to nurture you and they're going to do all these things. But God already told you fornication and all these things is not going to lead to nothing. But then you still sitting around having baby after baby, being with this man. He cheating, he doing this, and you expect God to bless it. God was never in it in the first place. To my ladies, let's stop being, sacrifices, and we just out here hoping on a hope woman of prayer that somebody pick you and choose you, want to be with you. That time is over with. Once you get to a certain point in your life, if folks, like I tell folks, only love I would want is a love that somebody would come and wipe my butt when I was old and gray. If you're not about to do that, because that's what we're supposed to be doing, and you don't have that type of love, I don't want to be worth it. I'm not wasting my time, energy, my body, my money, none of it. Because investing in things and not reaping the benefits of anything and have everybody else getting what it is that you put into that. That's just like, for women who are wives and they got the side chicks that love, but the investment is where the wife is. You just a little plaything on the side. You think you really doing something. Now, if they happen to break up and they come be with you, okay, cool. But don't think for one moment that seed that was planted, that it's not going to come back. Because those who cheat with you will cheat on you. And usually they don't have no respect for you anyway. Because they be like, oh, well, they wouldn't be with a woman that they cheated with. You be like, huh? Listen, this is how most men really be thinking. And it goes to the women as well. We need to really be teaching our children to, wait, abstain, get married, learn themselves first, go out in the world, do other things, get close to God, let him, show you who's the one. Because the ones that you see really are together, and it is a beautiful thing. God put it together, and it is a beautiful thing when it's done the right way. And God is all in it, and that's why. And God actually protects it. Spiritual corruption often enters into through sexual corruption. And that's why you see a lot of stuff has to be sexualized, because sexuality is spirits conjoining. Remember, that is two people becoming one. When you have sex, two spirits becoming one. And that's what that is about. Remember, the marriage is not fortified till they actually have sex. So that's how they are joined. And God sees the both of them as one. Economic justice builds generational stability. No interest among Israelite teachers. Covenant family does not profit from each other's hardships. This is what I was talking about. Economic justice is a spiritual justice. This is why when you see these places who are doing these things to people, and they're so corrupt, the people are so poor and impoverished. There's so much stuff. Why? Because it is sorcery. Why? Why would you want, with all the money you have, to have people living on the street? To take everything from everybody. There's no reason for that. But the pride, the ego, and all of that stuff, and they want to have, be God and have control and want to make people do what you want to do. That's what it's about. Because usually when it's a financial thing, that's where you get people. That's how you see people on drugs and all those other things. Because they don't have the finances, they don't have this, they don't have that, and they're going through stuff. And this is how they're easily enticed to do other things. Why? They say, oh, well, would you, let so-and-so do such and such for $1 million? And then they be like, oh, yeah, I'll do. It's like you'll do anything for that $1 million. Why, though? What's going on in your life that you would say yes to that? Look at the folks that's doing these record deals. That's why, because they're so desperate, they're so thirsty, hungry. They want whatever it is they want. They want their life to change. They want it to change now. They don't want to wait. And sometimes that gift horse could be wrapped and dressed up just like the worst nightmare you will ever have. Because Satan will send you something that's dressed, packaged perfectly. You prayed, cried, and they will send it exactly, and it will be the Trojan horse of your life. Coming and disrupt and destroy everything. Gotta be careful out here. Integrity is generational strength. Keeping vows teaches your word, shapes your legacy. Integrity builds trust. Trust builds lineage stability. Remember, vows, altars, covenants, contracts, those are all things that God sees and takes very seriously, whether it's your marriage, whatever it may be. So even the things you promise to him, so this is why they're not so easily to get out of. They say you have to have your spouse, the one God chose for you. God usually don't choose no spouses for you, but what happens if you choose one, he honors it. So once you get in it, he honored it. And because he honored it, because it's an institution that he created, then that means that's a vow. You said you want it. You said you want to have it. You got it. He gave it to you. So now you got to do it. Dueteronomy 23, declaration said, identity, holiness, declarations. I am set apart for God's purposes. My lineage is holy, protected, and distinct. God will enter my life and my lineage. We have to be so very careful of the doors we're opening and closing in our lives. Excuse me. Purity declarations. God walks with me, so I maintain purity in my environment. My habits create a space where God dwells. I remove what contaminates my spirit. That's the daily journey of trying to, not trying, but allowing God to help you see what needs to be removed and what needs to stay, and, all of that. And that's what that journey is about. And he'll show you and you'll know. Even when it comes to the fasting, because I had spoken about it before, that's a way of, getting rid. God will let you see in what areas of your life. It's usually food, but it could be fast from electronics. You could fast from music. You could fast from your phone, food, music, anything that is, just being too much food in your life, everything, Justice declaration, I protect the vulnerable. I refuse to oppress. My lineage practice compassion, not exploitation. I walk in justice, mercy, and righteousness. And most people look at you when you're crazy, when you try to do these things. But these are the ways that you promote blessings in your life, by being a blessing to others, not oppressing them, not, having compassion, not exploiting them, having justice and mercy for them, instead of having these ill will think thoughts, no matter who or what they are. This is what this is about. Treating people like human beings. God, this is what he, respect of life. Economic integrity, and declarations. I do not exploit or take advantage of others. My lineage is built on generosity and fairness. God blesses my open-handedness. And this is what this is about. This is, we're always supposed to be giving. God is a giver. And you can be a giver of your time. It could be money. It could be whatever. And this is why this is one of my ways of giving back to God. Because he gave me the love and compassion to start looking, and he's showing me these things. So I'm giving it to other people, because he tells you whatever he's giving you is supposed to be a blessing to you, through you. So even if it's this type of situation where I'm, helping other people with stuff like this, I want to give these things, these tools to help other people, because they may be going through things in their own life and they don't understand. And God is the answer for them. They need to, get with God to understand what's going on. And so he can help them with their life, but more than anything for the relationship, for their souls to be saved, and for them to have a blessed life instead of a cursed life. Integrity declarations. My word is trustworthy. I fulfill what I commit to God. That's why I said I gotta make sure I keep up with these. And integrity strengthens my lineage. So, I told God that I would try to do at least one video a day. And that's what I be trying to do. And I get behind sometimes and I be like, Lord, forgive me, and I have to, because it's a vow. You know, you don't want to put a curse on yourself for not doing them. So you want to actually be doing what you said you were doing. But it's more than that. It's me taking out my time to research and study myself, to have a relationship with God, to, you know, cry out and for him to show me and then for me to bring it to you guys so you can see and you can, you know, if you, maybe some of you are going through that, you know, I have whatever videos here from just showing you what is going on in my life and how God is helping me in this walk. Okay. Because every day is not a great and wonderful day. It's supposed to be. But everything is supposed to be wonderful in heaven. We got to live it out here, and it's not always just that simple. And God is showing us how to, even in those bad circumstances and situations, how to be able to even, you can cry out and, you know, but to live through it in spite of it and get through it. Because it was times, honey, I'm going to tell you, whew, like, Lord, I don't feel like doing no video. I don't feel like doing this. My heart is hurt. Things are going on. Stuff is going on, whether it's my job, my family, my this, my that. And I'm like, Lord, and then I'm angry with myself. I'm angry with the situation. I'm angry with him. And it's like, listen, you made the vow. You made the promise. Let's walk through this thing. Let's sit down and look at it. And when we finish, then you share with other people. So, holiness, integrity strengthens my lineage. So that's my word is trustworthy. I fulfill what I commit to God. Integrity strengthens my lineage. Holiness, boundaries, framework, structure, model for understanding Deuteronomy 23's covenant ethics. Pillar 1 is identity, boundaries. Not everyone can shape your spiritual world. We must remember that too. Is environmental purity. Your space must reflect God's presence. That means, like, I hate, like, New York is just like, oh, I'm so used to being where it's clean in yards, and this is just really something for me. And it's my hometown, but I am a country girl at heart. I am, because I just, especially now. Justice for the oppressed. Compassion is covenant behavior. So you want to have, you know, a heart for people. Everybody's not our assignment. We're not called, but we still supposed to have justice, respect, not oppress people, not mistreat people, not, you know, this is what this is. Sexual purity, sexuality is sacred and must be protected. This is one of the things that can really get you cursed really, really quick, is starting to sleep around and do stuff. Why? Because those are spirits. That's the spiritual world. This is open door. And you're supposed to have some type of self-control. And when people want to lead and have no self-control, that's a problem, especially for these men who want to run around sleeping with everybody, want folks to be, you know, faithful and all this other craziness that they be talking about. And then there's always an issue and a sob story about who did what to them and why, and they can't even keep that thing in their pants long enough. I mean, because if you would cheat on your wife, and most people who are in business will tell you, if they have any type of integrity, if you cheat on your wife, I can't do business with you. Because if you lay next to her every day and lie and cheat and steal from her, what makes you think that if she can't trust you, why would I trust you? That's the person that lays next to you, cook your food, do everything for you, and you would mistreat your own children, your own family? That's crazy. And people don't think about it like that. But when you look at the job, you look at business, you look at all of the same frameworks: loyalty, understanding, compassion, honesty, same thing, integrity. They're built on the same things. So before you want to lead yourself. Before you want to control someone, control yourself first. This is why you have to go to God yourself first. This is it. So sexual purity, pillar 5 is economic justice. Covenant family does not exploit each other. What does that mean? We do not get over. We do not mistreat each other. We love each other. We have integrity for each other. We try to help each other instead of trying to tear each other down, to get over on each other, to lie, steal, kill, deceit, and destroy each other like the enemy, because that's what enemies do. So when you do those things, you are an enemy. You are not family. You're just a family member you're an enemy who happened to be a family member. That's it. Because if you would treat a person that you say you love like that, how would you treat people that you don't? I'm going to leave that like that. Integrity. Your word is part of your worship. So that means You say you're going to do this, you know, any altars, covenant contracts, any vows you make, whatever, whether it's in business, whether it's with your family, your friends, whoever it is, it's supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to be. Lineage Bridge and Justice Worksheet, Identity Boundary Audit. Who or what influences must be removed in your life? What strengthens my covenant identity? What weakens it? So these are things you gotta, you know, influences that are good, you want to keep. Influences are not, gotta let you see what strengthens your covenant identity and what weakens it. Purity audit. What habits pollute my environment? What practices restore purity? What must be cleansed? These are things that could be your life, your house, whatever. Same thing. Your heart, your mind. These are things, cleansing, all a part of it. Justice audit. Who needs protection? Where must I refuse exploitation? What generational patterns of injustice must be broken? So, same thing. Helping protect, not exploiting, having justice. Sexual integrity. What boundaries protect my lineage? What patterns need healing? What influences must be removed? Exactly. Economic justice audit. Where am I tempted to take advantage? Where must I practice generosity? What financial habits honor God? So when you think about these things, you got to think about God is watching. He's watching how you treat people. And he'll step in when he gets ready. Now you're not about to keep doing that. I saw that. Like, you're going to stop doing that. This is what happens. Integrity audit. What vows or commitments must I fulfill? Where must I restore my word? What integrity practices strengthen my lineage? So we got to think about these things. You know, like I said before, you know, God steps in and he does what he does. When you look at your life, you'll see whatever you sown, you'll be reaping. If you didn't sow, you'll have lack. Why? Because you have to do one or both. You got to do, you have to do something. So now, okay, I'm going to end this one because it's already been an hour. Yeah, this one is kind of long. Oh, I had wanted to, the nocturnal emissions. I didn't know what that was. Oh, wow. My network is acting crazy. Well, that must be a sign for me to end this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you would like. I do have in my bio link where you can donate to me. I have my Cash App in there. If you want to be a blessing to me and my family, it would be greatly appreciated. If not, God is always my provider. I do not require people to give me money or do anything. But if they want to and they feel led to, then yes, it would be greatly appreciated and a blessing to you. Outside of that, like I said, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel because I want other people to see the channel. I want to be a blessing to other people, to as many people that I can. It's not about finances and money because I've been doing this. I don't think I've ever gotten a donation yet, and that's fine. I have over 400 videos. God blesses me, and whoever, you know, I'm around is always blessed. It doesn't matter what's going on. I can tell people I'm a blessing to people. So when people bless me, they are blessed. When people curse me, they have problems. That's it. I mean, it just is what it is. Why? Because when people send me to people's lives, he sends me to be a blessing to them. So I'm not coming to be, you know, someone who's going to hurt, harm, or destroy anybody. That's not my intentions. That's not, you know, who I am. If I say I do something, half the time it will be unintentional. I usually wouldn't even know unless there's something going on between us and we had some altercation or something. Then I, you know, may let you have to know some things in seriousness and love, and you just have to take it how you do, baby cakes. But other than that, like I said, we are bruised and not broken. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to let this one go. Be blessed in the name of Jesus, and I hope this video is a blessing to whoever gets to see it. And later, till the next one.